everyone, welcome back to Copperline Rattler Ranch. I'm Julia. In this week's video we're going to be cleaning up all the sanding that we've done. Don went through and did some sandpaper sanding and he tried some wet sanding, which I'd never heard of with drywall mud before, but it seemed to work pretty well. Now we just have to clean up all this dust, and then we're going to go ahead and put the texture on the walls. We have just the two walls to put the texture on. Then we're going to do a primer coat on the ceiling, and hopefully in this video we can get to putting the ceiling tiles up so you can see that as well. So enjoy. These are the tests that we did, trying to get the consistency of the plaster or the texture and the amount of pressure from the air on the air compressor. And again, that runny stuff is the first we did. We didn't have any pressure on, so it just all came out like a big glob. That's why you do tests. Okay, we'll get you up close and personal to the texture. This is the first part we did. Got a little bit heavy on the texture, but that's okay. We're gonna do the primer, paint primer, tomorrow. This should all be dry. And we'll do the paint primer tomorrow, which will make it look a whole lot better. Right now it just looks like a mess, but once you put the paint on it, even just the primer, it looks a whole lot better. Let me take you over here. You can probably see my shadow. Let's see if I can get it where we're not seeing my shadow. And then again over here, we left it a little bit thinner, and I think we both agreed that we like this wall better. So when we do the living room wall and the bedroom wall, we'll have a little bit more experience under our belt and we can do a better job. So a couple knuckleheads had to come and see what we're doing. They approve. All right, this is not the final color. This is just the primary coat or the primer on the walls, on the ceiling, Put a little bit more on the walls. The ceiling's gonna get the ceiling tile, and we'll show you that when we get those in. But it looks great. I'll take a look at the texture. My shadow's in the way. So there's some of the texture. We think it looks pretty well. It looks pretty good. And we'll look at it from here. So of course this is a shower area where we'll get some tile all the way to the ceiling. And then the cob wall will get the lime plaster, the lime putty, and the waterproofing. Woohoo! So we talked about doing tile on our ceilings, and we like this tin tile look. We've always liked the tin tile look. It's kind of a thing out here. If you go to any historical buildings, you're going to see a tin tile, the actual tin, stamped tin tile roof in a lot of those buildings. For example, if you go to Bisbee, lots of the buildings have these. This is called a polystyrene. It's like a very thin plastic. The name fooled us. We thought it was going to be like a styrofoam, but it's very thin, very easy to work with, very easy to cut. We're going to be putting this up on the wall, on the ceiling. We will apply a special glue, one that's recommended by this company, to keep it up on the roof, and then it just overlaps on the edges, and you get that nice tin look. No buckles, nothing like that. This particular company, I can't remember the name, has 11 different colors and stamps, the stamp referring to the pattern, and the only thing that we didn't like about this was it doesn't have a matching crown molding, so we're going to get a plastic flexible crown molding. Let me see if it says what brand that is. It does not. So we're going to have to get a plastic crown molding because we want that flexibility, especially for the cob walls, that we'll be able to paint. Those you can paint, and actually, even though these come in, they got the color already in them, you can paint them. They're paintable. So for example, if we wanted to antique this, if we weren't happy with just this plain brass look, we could add some antiquing to it and get a little distressed kind of look to it. Or if we want to change it to a totally different color, we can do that as well. So we'll show you how we're going to put that up. Again, this is going to be our first time ever doing this, so we're not calling this a DIY video. It's just going to be watching us go along and put this up. So we'll kind of tell you the steps that we're doing as we go. All right, we have set all of our tiles on here upside down because we need to, this is the side we need to apply the glue on. But before we do that, we need to wipe them gently with a little bit of rubbing alcohol to make sure there's no grease from our fingers, no dust from manufacturing or anything else, so that the glue will adhere to the panels and then consequently up onto the ceiling. We're going to use a laser. We're going to find the middle of the room, north to south, which is the shorter distance in the bathroom. And we're going to start at that middle section and go to the north and then go to the south. That way we should have sort of even cuttings on each side so that we're not having one skinny strip or one partial strip on one side only. We're going to start at the west wall because when you come into the bathroom from the east side, that way when you see it, the overlapping, and you'll see us how we do this, the overlapping seams are going to be such that you won't notice the seam. It's going to look like one continuous piece of tile. And again, these are the nice, flexible, very easy to work with, very lightweight. We overbought by a lot because we're not done this before, so we want to make sure we have plenty to make some mistakes on. Also, by starting here, I'll show you over here. If you can see, there's our two lights for the shower. The round one over on the left is just a regular light. It is a light that is designed for wet areas. We wanted to make sure that we had lights that were approved or rated for wet or shower areas, so that if it does get wet by some strange coincidence, if we have a grandchild in here messing around with the shower, it gets wet, won't hurt it. The square one is the light that will have the fan, the exhaust fan. You know, you have a fan in your bathroom. It's going to help take some of that humidity out. It's already hooked up. So when we put the light back on there, it is vented all around it. It just looks like a beautiful light. And it does suck the air pretty good. We turned it on, and you could kind of feel a gentle draw of that air going through that. It does go out, and it exits out through the eave on that side of the roof. That is the side that has no parapet. That's the west side that will do all of our rainwater catchment from the roof on. So back to this. We'll show you as we do it. And again, like I said, we're not professionals. We're just going to try our hand at this and see how it goes. That was us dry fitting one of the panels up there. We're lining it up straight down the center. They're easy to line up. So we're using a laser level. We've got the laser light shining. I don't know if you can see it, maybe barely. But now Don's gonna go get some more tools that we need. I measured the temperature of the ceiling. It's over 50, it's like 53. So we're good to go there. The room temperature is almost at 50 if it's not at 50. Each of these panels will get a wipe down with the rubbing alcohol before we put the glue on it. So I'm going to rub them down, let them dry out for a minute, and then put the glue on. And that's how we'll line them up. So let me turn this off. And you can probably see, hopefully, there you can see the laser light really well with that light off, but we do need some light in here to do this. So with the light on, we can see the laser. I just don't know if you'll be able to see it, so we've got it lined up where we want it to go. We're about halfway done, and we are thinking we're going to run out of the glue. So Donna's calling around to see if the local guys have it. If not, we'll just go till we run out and then have to run back to Sierra Vista to get more at the big box store. So far, I think it looks great, even without the molding. So the crown molding is going to cover all those edges. Like here, you can see a little bit of the white still. So the crown molding, once we get this wall done with the plaster, will come up from the wall to the ceiling and hide all that. That's what it's designed to do. All this, and then of course all this side too, and the wall that's behind me. Now Don opted on the light that goes directly over the shower, which is over here. He's going to come back tomorrow, punch it. It's just a little round spot instead of a big square one like this one. So he's going to just go, we could feel it through the tile. So he's going to go tomorrow, feel for it, punch it, give it a couple of crisscrosses, and then cut it around. And then we can put the lights back up. All right, we're down to the nitty gritty. We just have one little thin strip left. It's about 6+ inches. So we're gonna have to cut a couple of tiles to fit in that space, and then we'll be done with the tiling. Well, it took us 2 days to finish the ceiling, the tile in the ceiling, only because we didn't buy enough adhesive to start with. So by the time we got to a stopping point the first day, it was kind of late, and it's an hour drive each way at least from here to Sierra Vista. So we waited till the next morning, went in and got some more of the adhesive and finished it up. As you can see behind me, Don has put the lights back in that are going over the shower. And we've also got the vanity light put in because it's an automatic light. It turns on as soon as we walk into the room. So let me show you what it looks like from entering the door to the bathroom. So as you come into the bathroom from the doorway that leads into the living room, you can see that you really can't see the seams that are going left to right. And that's because we started at that west end and put them over toward the east end, and the overlap goes to the west. Let me walk across the room and we'll see if we can see those seams from the other direction. I can kind of see the seams only because I know where they are. I think you could probably see them. It looks kind of like you can, but the manufacturer recommends doing the tiling in a way where you start at the ceiling that's furthest away from the main entrance to the room. And that's so that you don't see those seam lines immediately when you come into the room. It helps to hide them. So as far as the molding goes, we didn't find anything that we liked that was readily available, so we're going to have to go online and find something that we like that's made out of the same material. So we have a little bit of flexibility on these cob walls when we put those moldings up against the ceiling. But that doesn't have to be done right away. We still have a lot more work to do in here. We'll get those selected and ordered and put those up at some point in the future. So thank you for watching the video. That's going to be it for this one. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Comments and questions in that comment section below. And we'll see you next time. Bye.